Hi guys.
What up?
Hi pink people. Welcome back to another episode of the Color Pink podcast. I'm Sydney.
You're Pinky.
Yeah, I'm Sydney, aka Pinky.
I'm Hallie, aka The Brain. And
today we are continuing on with the scientist series.
We are.
Can you just give like a quick synopsis?
I can. It's my job.
Oh,
That's wild.
Crossover.
So the series, the scientist series, is diving in deep to a tool that we love and swear by, the scientist and the lab rat. We've talked about it in a ton of our past episodes. Now we have a whole series dedicated to it. Yeah. So every single episode is based on one instance of us using the scientist and the lab rat in practice in our lives so that you have lots of examples on how to use it in your life.
Yeah. Something that we've established throughout this podcast is that your emotions are trying to tell you something. 9 times out of 10, if it's a negative emotion, it means that something is not working out. And so this series is really just around us listening to our emotions when they come up and working to find a solution that directs us on the path that we want towards the life that we want.
Ooh.
Towards the emotions that we want.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the first experiment of mine is titled Participating in Life.
Yes, we name our own experiments.
Yes. Some context behind it. Living in survival mode is terrible. It's just hard. It's hard to enjoy life. It is hard to have fun. It's hard to find hope. And the transition out of survival mode, different emotions, but they also don't feel great. It feels like you can be kind of at the whim of life, and that you might feel like you don't have a foundation, that you're not grounded in anything. You're just like going through the motions of life. I know I definitely felt that way. Have you ever felt that way?
Of course.
I mean, I still feel that way sometimes, to be honest. Like, I think it's still a very relevant topic that I deal with. I don't want to just like not be enjoying life. Because let's be honest, it's very expensive to live.
Period.
It's very like in the Northeast. Keep in mind, we don't even live in the most expensive state. Still very expensive to live. We got debt. We got student loan debt.
Oh my god.
I don't even know what accent that was. That was like my British ting, his attempt at a Southern accent.
Debt. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
We have student loan debt. Living expenses, rent, like it's fucking a lot. And I feel like if you aren't experiencing joy on the daily, you start questioning, what the fuck am I doing this for?
You start sinking.
Yeah.
Fast.
Yeah. And like, I mean, what is it that a lot of people say that like people go on autopilot? I just felt like I was on autopilot. Like I was going through the motions for the sake of going through the emotions, or not going through the emotions.
We just love emotions so much.
But I was going through the motions for the sake of going through the motions. And it's just like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I don't know if y'all know. I'm pretty into astrology.
Logistics and astrology, we know.
Yeah. Shout out Mary Amini. I feel like she gets a plug maybe once an episode, but like this woman has literally changed my life. Mary, I love you. All the roses, all the flowers for you. She introduced me to this concept called numerology. Every number 1 through 9 has a certain energy attached to it. And you can apply that to astrology, but you can also apply that to your days, your months, your years. This year is a 5-year for me, which is midway through the cycle. It's actually a 5-year for both of us.
Yes, it is.
It's a year of change. If shit hasn't been going well the last 4 years, you switch it up. But it's just a really good year for transformation. With that in the back of my mind, I knew I need to change shit this year, which prompted me to participate in life.
You said a bunch of things that you were feeling and going through. But what were those key emotional indicators, like words or descriptors we'll come back to all the time as like, if I'm feeling blank, I know something's up.
If I feel bored, like I'm not just talking about in the moment, but in life, if I'm feeling bored with life, if I'm feeling stuck in life, like I'm at the mercy of what's happening to me and not in like a good way, I know that's an indicator that like, hey, I need to change something. If I feel disconnected, if I'm not feeling connected to nature, to the people around me, to the work that I'm doing, if I feel so disconnected, I know, okay, something's got to give, something got to change. And like a big one for me is like enjoying my solitude a little bit too much to the point where like I know I have this need for intimacy, connection with others, but I'm opting to stay literally in the box, like literally in my apartment and remain fucking comfortable.
I see.
It's like that like angst of like I'm not growing.
You know what's in my head right now? You know I know this is a serious topic, but like, you know the episode of SpongeBob?
I knew you were gonna say SpongeBob.
When they're in the box, when they do the imagination.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have all of Bikini Bottom, not to mention New Kelp City, out there in the world to experience, and you're just sitting in the box in the front yard on the curb.
Yeah. Something that my ex told me once. He was like, you have so much that's available to you, and you cage yourself in. I'm still processing that 4 years later, to be honest. Like, I'm still like, oh my God, you're fucking right. But like, I feel like that's just being neurodivergent, to be honest.
Okay, so you were feeling bored, you were feeling disconnected.
Yes.
You're feeling like life's not fun.
Yes.
And like you were prone to isolation and solitude, and that was your preference, even though you had big needs that you knew needed to be met and also feel good being met. That's a great list of initial emotional indicators. We'll probably have a long list by the end of this series, who knows.
Yeah.
You decided that, you know, what I need to do is put this thing into practice, and my experiment is going to be participating in life.
Yes.
So can you tell us, what did it look like to be a scientist in this experience? What went into designing what that experiment means to you?
Okay. So, do you know Shonda Rhimes' concept, the year of yes?
Yes. Like, yes, I get the concept, but no, I can't talk about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I feel like this was my year of yes, but like an informed yes.
Okay.
If I found that I was interested in doing something, I would listen to that initial excitement and then also what came after, the reasons why I wouldn't be able to do that, and pushing myself to do those things. So like for me, I want to be a lot more social. I'm very much so an introvert, even though I'm outgoing. I want to be more social. I want to make more connections with people. My intention behind being the scientist, my hypothesis, if you may, was to like really show myself that I'm capable of having fun. A big
That's fair.
belief that I've been conditioned around is that I'm not fun, and that I'm like too business, too scared, or you know, like all the twos. I'm too much, whatever, you know. And
All the twos. I love that. I've never heard of that.
heard it here, folks.
You heard it here, Scientist Sydney.
Yeah, Sid the Science Kid.
Oh, I have so many ideas right now.
I was really focused around restructuring those beliefs and showing myself, hey, I can participate in life. I can be spontaneous. I can have fun. I am able to achieve life in a way. You know, I think a big thing that I got hung up on was the fact that like everyone says like your 20s, you're supposed to have fun in your 20s, blah, blah, blah. Granted, a good portion of my 20s was stripped away because of COVID, but like I felt like I wasn't living in my 20s. I felt like I was very much so being like a recluse, which is fine, you know, but it brought about a lot of shame. And so my methods of being the scientist were setting up plans, coaching myself through certain things. Like I remember there was one day that I was going out by myself to just like a local event, but I was having a lot of anxiety and a lot of dread. Part of me overcoming that was like literally doing a get ready with me on my close friends, just like allowing myself to be anxious, to be nervous, like making space for those feelings.
This is something that's really important when it comes to how to kindly create change in your life.
Yes.
Setting up experiments with the goal of getting evidence.
Yes.
Of something you want to believe but currently don't.
Mm-hmm.
So powerful.
Yeah.
You're basically setting up opportunities to collect evidence that you're fun.
Yeah.
And that you can participate in life and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And that it can be good for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of that, setting up all those opportunities, that was the intentional scientist part of this.
Yes.
Then we switch into the lab rat part of this, where your expectations of yourself are different.
Mm-hmm.
You get to act natural, which means in theory you could show up to these opportunities, have a terrible time, throw a drink on someone if you want.
Yeah.
Channel your inner Real Housewives of whatever county you're on right now.
Yeah.
You could.
Yeah.
Because the lab rat is the part where you get to act natural.
Yeah.
So what did it look like when you ended up being a lab rat?
Oh, what did
maybe
it look
if
like?
there's a range of behaviors, or maybe it went off without a hitch and you naturally loved every second of it. But how was that part?
That part was a lot of anxiety, to be honest, because I think like anytime you're stepping out of your comfort zone, it's like it's just scary. Our minds create comfort zones because they're comfortable. Like, we're safe in those spaces. But at the same time, I think you said this about me, and I'll forever remember this. You said that I'm a growth-oriented person.
You are.
And thank you. That was something that I needed more than being comfortable. Once again, like, kind of like a year of yes, an informed yes, but a year of yes. Doing things for the plot has been like a really big theme for me this year. Just like doing shit that I normally wouldn't do, and not in like a reckless way, but just kind of being like, okay, what would stop me from doing this? Is it because I am worried about being perceived a certain way? Is it like an actual threat to like my well-being, you know? But like really digging into what is my apprehension here around.
I just want to highlight that's being the scientist. Yeah. Right? Because you're the informed version of yourself in that moment.
Yeah.
You know, you're the one with the good questions, the good criteria, the good reflection. So it's this delicate balance of be the scientist, set up the experiment, be the lab rat, go and live it.
Yeah.
Be the scientist, evaluate what just happened.
Yeah.
Adjust the experiment and do it again.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah. For me, it was a lot of bouncing back and forth, which is why I'm like struggling a little bit with like the...
Which is which?
Yeah, which is which, because it's like I was doing it literally like bouncing back and forth.
Yeah.
But like as for actual things that I did this year, I've gone out a few times by myself. That's been really fun. I've made a few friends from that, so that's been really fun. Mm-hmm. I booked a trip to South Africa to meet some of my friends. Hey, Jonita. To go meet some of my friends from London. So I'm like super excited to do that. Another big thing is that like I literally 5 minutes before I walked into the stadium, I bought just myself a ticket to go see Beyonce. I did see her a few days prior to deciding to go again, but I literally bought the ticket probably 5 minutes before I walked into the stadium. Those are just like a few little examples of just like, why the fuck not? Like the only things that were stopping me were my preconceived notions, my beliefs, limiting beliefs at that. And I was like, well, why the fuck not? Why not just do these things? Who cares? What's the worst thing that's gonna happen? I won't get into the concert. Not gonna lie, that would have crushed me. But like, what's gonna happen? Nothing's gonna happen, you know? So it's like, why not? Just why not have fun? And we talk about this a lot. It's like leaning into your P.
That sounds wild to
I
people
know.
who don't understand.
Like capital P.
Just tell me when it's my time.
It's your time. It's your time.
Okay, so like Myers-Briggs, it's in essence a personality assessment, but it breaks down all of our natural tendencies as people and where we have very different natural tendencies. One of them is summarized by the capital letter P. It stands for perceiver. It's basically just someone whose natural tendency is to not value structure as a way to alleviate anxiety, to keep their world open to possibilities, and their focus is on adaptability. And those are people who are perceivers. The opposite, I'm a P. The opposite is a J, Miss Sydney.
Yeah.
Whose preference is to look at the world, plan, structure, organize, and decide things as a way to alleviate anxiety so you can move through the world as comfortably and openly as you can.
Yeah.
But you're leaning into your P.
Yeah, which means that I'm just open to different possibilities. I am looking to be more adaptable. And that's really what being the lab rat looked like for me this year, was being open, informed yeses, just having fun with all the different possibilities that this world has to offer.
I love it. So what did you learn from this experiment?
I learned so much. First of all, I am a fucking fun person. That's what I really learned.
You heard it here. You are. That's true.
Yeah. But I think like...
You're also funny as fuck.
Thank you.
I'm literally like getting abs from editing videos because you're so fucking hilarious.
I'm dead. I feel like the areas that I'm most fun and funny in are very like safe spaces for me, which is fine, you know, completely. But like I'm learning to bring more of that out. I'm learning to bring more of my authenticity out. And this is something that's really been like a really important outcome for me. I think overall it's just helping me show up better.
Yeah.
A big lesson I learned is that 9 times out of 10, when you take a risk on life, it's going to reward you. It is going to reward you. Even if you don't think it rewards you, you still get a lesson in which you can apply to later things. I think the entire gist of the Scientist series is just learning about yourself. And that to me is priceless. That to me is always going to be something super important. That's always going to be an amazing outcome to any situation. The fact that I learned more about myself. Therefore, I deepened my relationship with myself. I connected more with myself. I can trust myself more. I can support myself more. Like that is in itself already a gift. Another thing that I learned is that when you participate in life and you do things subjectively and for yourself and with a well-informed intention, right? Life is so rewarding in the most unexpected ways. Like, I think we always assume that like there's going to be there's always going to be an outcome to whatever experiment you run, but you think that there's going to be like one specific thing, and then you end up learning so much more or gaining so much more in the process. For me, going to Beyonce, I thought, great, I'm going to go see Beyonce. You know, little did I know it was an Aquarius full moon that night. I'm an Aquarius. I like made friends with the people that were sitting around me. They all had major Aquarius placements. I literally felt like we were in a fucking coven, right? And then it's like, it's a super moon. And so like, we're literally watching the moon rising over Beyonce. Like, oh my God, like that will forever be like a night, like one of the best nights of my life.
Did you feel infinite?
I did. And it's like the feelings that you get from completing these experiments. I'm always going to fucking say this, 2 + 2 = 5. Like there's
corporate
always,
jargon.
I haven't heard that in corporate. I have heard that a lot at Bentley though.
You're not listening if you haven't heard that.
Yeah.
Corporate.
2 + 2 = 5. Like there's always something greater than just the physical expected outcome.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Okay, so speaking of feelings.
Yes.
This started with you feeling bored and disconnected, and those were indicators that you listened to tell you something's not working. Mm-hmm. What were the emotional indicators on the other side of running this participating in life experiment?
I feel so empowered. Like I just feel empowered. I feel like I can like truly trust the universe. I feel open. I feel receptive.
Ooh.
That's like a big one. Like I feel like cool. Like I just have to lean into the frequency of abundance. I just have to lean into the frequency of the universe and everything will work out for me. And that's beautiful. I feel good.
Good. I do have one more question.
Yeah. Why
or how was the scientist in the lab rat as a framework living in your head throughout this useful to you? Like, how did it make a difference? How would this have not worked as well if you weren't thinking about this tool as you're going?
Great question.
Thank you. I'm the brain.
She is. I'm Pinky. As someone who struggles with their mental health at certain times in life, when you're in your emotions, it's very hard to pull back and get through your emotions or like assist yourself. It can be very fucking hard. So when I was going through those emotions, it's almost like I like was able to develop or like almost able to like be 2 versions of myself at once and like tag team what the problem is. So it's like I have the lab rat version of me, right? Rat girl summer.
Rat girls.
That's a thing, by the way.
I'm personally having a slow girl summer, but rat girl sounds interesting, and I'll consider it for next year.
I'm definitely having a rat girl summer.
Okay, we'll have to talk about this offline, off camera.
There we go.
Yeah.
I was able to like be the part of myself that was going through shit. There's a part of me who's already strategized around this. And it took a lot of pressure off of those emotions and trying to deal with those emotions. I think also like just knowing that you're engaging in an experiment, even if it isn't a defined experiment, because I feel like I have done this in situations that I wasn't specifically labeling as an experiment specific for the series.
Yeah.
But just like overall growing that skill and like being able to zoom out to the scientist helped me a lot.
We talk about all the time how we have different complementary experiences.
Yeah.
That all feed into all the topics we talk about and how we approach things very differently, but it's great because we represent a lot more
diversity of thought.
Real estate. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Diversity of thought. Yeah, exactly. How we use this tool is, again, we use it very differently.
Yeah.
You know, my experiments are very structured. Yours are more spontaneous and fluid, and you have fun with that. And we both see results, you know, so take your pick. One thing about this experiment that I just want to point out, the experiment was, I'm going to participate in life.
Yeah.
That is not the kind of thing that fixes your life.
No.
Right? This is not, I'm going to lose 30 pounds and start a business and retire my parents. And like, you can already hear how those goals lack kindness and can really quickly become motivated by shame.
Yeah.
But experiments are so much more approachable, and they actually have kindness folded into their makeup. You know, participating in life sounds so much nicer.
It does.
And probably actually got you participating in life.
Yeah.
Far faster and easier than if your I don't know, your call to action or your
objective.
objective, is you need to participate in life. A totally different vibe.
Yeah.
And different results.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Something else that I think is interesting. I lost it. Shout out Beyonce. Pick it up like you found it. Me and my girlfriends came out to play. Chantilly lays, broken glass on the disco, sex on the brain. Watch my reflection on my face. Move out the way. Okay.
Thank you. Now I've gone to the concert as well.
Yeah.
I'm participating in life. And so are you for just doing that.
Thank you.
I loved it. You found it?
I found it. So the only other thing that I have to say, I think what we try to accomplish on this podcast are less defined goals that just make life more pleasant. Referencing what you previously said about goals that are like buying a house, paying off debt, things like that. I don't think this framework would work for that. Yeah, I think this framework works well for those more broad goals.
Yeah.
Of, I want to feel better in this area of my life, or in this specific thing that I'm struggling with.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the only rigidity that this is about is rigid neuroplasticity. No, just kidding.
Got that shit on a chain.
You're right. This is for developing kindness and empathy for yourself. This is for learning and gaining insight into who you are. This is for making kind, intentional, gradual changes towards a version of you that sits right with you, a version of life that sits right with you. You know, it's not about, you're right, this is not the right fit for those very rigid goals.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well,
that's that
on that.
Okay.
Thanks so much for listening. We will be back with another episode next week, if you're listening to this while it drops. In the meantime, feel free to connect with us on Instagram at The Color Pink Podcast, or send us an email at thecolorpinkpodcast@gmail.com, minus the first at. I just realized.
So thorough. I love it.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us, and we can't wait to get into more experiments with you.
See you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Let me pull the blue ivy. Something like that.